Hey everyone, Miko here again with another episode of Checkpoint. For those new to the channel, Checkpoint is a series where I vlog about my typical day and discuss life as a solo bedroom musician with a full-time job. I share thoughts about specific topics that are on my mind at the time. If you're interested in particular sections, I will leave the timestamps down below. In this episode, I want to share our recent trip to Japan where we attended the Suzuka Grand Prix. If you're planning to visit Japan or attend the Grand Prix next year, stay tuned for some useful tips I will share throughout the video. I think you'll find them very helpful. I've been to Japan several times before, and each visit has been wonderful. However, this is the first time I'm visiting Nagoya, and also my first time attending a Formula 1 Grand Prix. It required some planning, and I want to give a shout out to my friend Stephen, who gave us a leg up in the preparations. So we flew Cebu Pacific from Manila to Nagoya on April 2, and there's a funny but frustrating story about it. Apparently, we pre-ordered 2 meals for each of us for both of our flights. I'm not even sure how that happened in their system. I'm really certain that I only booked 1 meal for each of us, and I think that should make sense on their website. I'm not sure how they allow you to book multiple meals for such a short flight. So yeah, that was unexpected to say the least. On the way home, we just decided to give the food to the attendants. And I'm also quite disappointed that they didn't offer us any drinks. Isn't that a common thing? They should offer like juice or coffee, right? Yeah, so that's pretty weird. They just gave us water. Yeah, I guess I'm just not used to that kind of service, but yeah, pretty surprising, but not a big deal. So on our first day, when we arrived at around 1 in the afternoon, we tried a local coffee place in Kanayama, and we grabbed our coffee to go because we want to experience and enjoy the park, which has cherry blossoms blooming. It was great timing. So we stayed there and spent a few hours waiting for our room to be ready. And we also tried the first must-try food in Nagoya, which is ogura toast. It was surprisingly good even for me because I was not sure first because there was red bean in it. But trust me, it's delicious. Go try it. Then after checking in and settling down, we headed to Nagoya Station to pick up our 5-day Kintetsu Rail Pass. These can be booked through klook.com, and you'll need it to travel to Nagoya to Shiroko Station where the buses for the Grand Prix is waiting. So here's my Grand Prix tip number 1. Book your Kintetsu Rail Passes in Klook in advance and your Kintetsu Limited Express Passes as well. You can book it a month in advance. The Kintetsu Limited Express Passes allows you to reserve seats from Nagoya going to Shiroko and back. Since you'll be doing a lot of walking in the Grand Prix days and in Japan in general, having guaranteed seats for your train rides, for your 40-minute train rides to and from, makes the trip much more comfortable. Trust me. And my first Japan tip in general, make sure you know the rail pass that you're getting. For example, in Nagoya, the Kintetsu Rail Pass doesn't cover the Meitetsu line or the JR line. So if you plan to travel in areas that are not covered by that line, you need to buy separate tickets or passes. Fortunately, all the ticketing stations in Japan are very easy to use. Just don't forget to select English before you do anything. Our first meal in Nagoya was at Koko Ichibanya World. My wife and I love Koko Ichibanya even here in Manila, and we were curious what's the difference between Koko Ichibanya, the regular one, and Koko Ichibanya World. And as it turns out, Koko Ichibanya World, they offer dishes that are available in the other Koko Ichibanyas around the world, but they have fewer options than the regular Japanese Koko Ichibanya. Nevertheless, we tried some new dishes, and as expected, it was amazing. And as we head back to our hotel, we stumbled upon a Grand Prix decorated area, which got us even more hyped for the upcoming Grand Prix. Heading back to our hotel, because we have 2 more days before the Grand Prix itself, we decided to stop by at Family Mart to buy a few things. So my Japan travel tip number 2, if you don't plan to have breakfast or you plan to leave early in the morning the next day, buy whatever you need, food and drink, in Japan's convenience stores. You'll be surprised about the quality of the food you can get there. And then consecutively, Japan travel tip number 3, always check the weather before you go out. If there's a chance of rain, convenience stores have ponchos or umbrellas as well. Unfortunately for us, the next day was rainy, and armed with our umbrellas, our first stop was Nagoya Castle. The area was lovely, although it could have been more nice if there was no rain, as I would enjoying the various food there while enjoying the park as well. And then afterwards, we tried the second must-try food in Nagoya, which is misokatsu. We dined at Misokatsu Yabaton, and check out their mascot's animation/cartoon that they're displaying. It's quite funny. And as expected, in most of Japan, the food was delicious as always. Although they kinda messed up our order, they only got our orders for appetizers appetizers, and we only realized it after 15 minutes. It was weird because they actually asked us what are the side dishes for our main dish, but they didn't punch it in. So there's quite a bit of misunderstanding, but no issues. The food was great. Following our meal, we went to Atsuta Jingu. It's a temple area with a museum inside, and they were strict about photos and videos, so we didn't take any there. And then, since it kept raining, we decided to stop at a Starbucks. Pretty unique, right? Yeah, we stopped there before we headed to our next location, which is the nearest in that area, because our next destination was the Osu Shotengai Osu Shotengai shopping district. I hope I said that right. This area was expansive, and there's a temple around the area or within the area, and there's a lot of shops as well. It offers a variety from food to stickers to toys. My wife bought a few stickers in one of the shops. And then after a few hours in the district, we decided to head home. But before we head home, our last stop was a third must-try food in Nagoya, which was the Taiwan ramen. We sampled it at a popular spot named Maisen Miyiki. I'll just put the text below so I won't butcher the names anymore. And it was outstanding. Don't forget to try their dumplings too. The following day, we visited Legoland Nagoya. My wife and I love building Legos, so this was a fun experience for us. It's a relatively small theme park with a lot of impressive Lego creations, including replicas of like Japanese landmarks. The rides were also enjoyable, and their wait times are quite short. Like the popular rides are around 20 to 30 minutes, while the other rides are just less than 10 minutes. A big difference compared to like the Disney parks. And then for lunch, we tried the fourth must-try food in Nagoya, which is the hitsumabushi, I think. And I think in general, it's a grilled eel dish. And originally, we planned to go to a restaurant to try this out in particular, but there was a pretty nice restaurant in Legoland that offers the food already, so might as well try it there. It was delicious, and Legoland has a unique ordering system where you place the Lego bricks which corresponds to your order to a Lego board or a Lego platform, and then you just raise your hand and they will get your order. That was pretty fun. And then after trying most of the rides, we didn't try the ones that we might get wet. We stopped by at a Don Quixote near our hotel to buy souvenirs for friends and family. And in case you're not familiar, Don Quixote is like a tax-free haven. It's like a mega store that sells pretty much everything, but it's great for buying souvenirs for your friends and family. Just don't forget to bring your passport when you buy there. You need it for the tax exemptions. And then back at the hotel, we opted to eat dinner at our rooms instead so we can rest up because next day is Grand Prix day. Our first day in the Suzuka Grand Prix was on a Friday, although there's already activities on Thursday. Suzuka has a theme park around the track, so I think next time we plan to go on Thursday and just enjoy the rides. Grand Prix ticket holders have unlimited access to the rides. And I believe Japan is one of the best places to watch a Grand Prix because of how organized they are. From the trains to how they manage the crowds, from the station up to the circuit, how everything is disciplined and in line. Everything was so efficient and orderly. It was a lot of fun, but make sure you bring comfortable shoes, walking shoes, running shoes, because there's a lot of walking. So in a Grand Prix, Friday has open seating, and we found a great spot to watch FP1. We had seats in the C/D section, where we have a great view of the S-curves. And then after FP1, we headed to the iconic Suzuka Ferris wheel, and it took about an hour to get on the Ferris wheel. The line was very long. And then we tried to catch FP2 in the I section. The I section is pretty popular because the cars slow down there at the curve, so you can take nice photos. But it was crowded when we arrived, and the rain also dampened the practice session. So after that, we just decided to go back to our hotel now, and the line for the bus was quite long. So my advice would be is to not leave just after the session ends, because I think the lines will be most congested during those periods. And then a Suzuka Grand Prix tip, remember that when the sign says last bus, it doesn't mean literally the last bus. It just means that the cut-off of the line is at that time. So for example, if the last bus says 6:30 p.m., it doesn't mean that even if you're in line by 6:30, you won't get a bus. It just means that everyone who's in line by 6:30 p.m. will get a bus. So you don't need to rush. It doesn't mean that 6:30 is the last trip of the bus. It's just the cut-off of the line. And then another Suzuka Grand Prix tip, you can move your Kintetsu Limited Express Pass ahead or backwards in schedule, and it's free, so take advantage of it. So for example, if you're arriving early or arriving a bit late, to the station, you can just align your scheduled train so you won't miss it. I think a general guideline would be align 60 to 70 minutes the line for the bus, and after getting on the bus, it's 30 minutes from Suzuka to Shiroko station. This applies from Shiroko going to Suzuka and then vice versa. And then the next 2 days were pretty similar. Hey everyone, Miko here. We're in Suzuka right now, as you can see. Qualifying just finished. Yeah, Red Bull, as per usual, got their top 2. Well, Perez actually delivered today, but that's a whole other thing. So it's the end of me and Faith's trip. We're coming back to Manila on Monday, and then yeah, I'm just going to keep on working on my EP. I've had a few more ideas that I'm really excited to work on when we come back. It's been a fun trip so far. Very tiring, lots of walking, but that's expected in Japan. See you soon at home. Yay! But for the next 2 days, we stayed in our reserved seats and we just enjoyed a lot of the delicious food there. Seriously, Suzuka Grand Prix is like a food festival with cars driving around. And despite Max winning in a dominant fashion again as expected, and the first lap red flag, which we saw live, which was cool, there were several exciting battles. And then after the race, we did the East Course walk where we walk on the track itself. And just before heading home, we ate one last time at a Coco Ichibanya. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed our Grand Prix weekend, and I look forward to attending again soon. But for now, I'm just looking forward to heading home, getting a nice massage, preferably foot massage, and getting back to making music. And here's one more travel tip for you. Invest in air tags for your luggage. It's incredibly useful to know where your luggage is at all times. And after the experience of our luggage getting left at Tokyo when we arrived in Manila last December, I decided to invest in air tags, which was a game changer. It was so stressful, that experience of having our luggage left in Japan while we're already in Manila. It took 2 days before our luggage came back to us, so never again. And I guess that's it for the video. Let me know if one of the tips was new to you, and feel free to share tips as well down below. I hope this video is quite useful and helpful, and let me know if you enjoyed watching it. And let's get back on to working on the new EP.